Why is the jury laughing?
Zero chance of winning the game.
Supposed to talk glamour to you.
My grandmother's sitting home watching Jerry Springer.
Lee, is there any way I could have your jacket?
Welcome back to Survivor Breakfast. We're talking episode 5, I think. 5, episode
2 quits, 3 vote outs. Yes.
One of those vote outs is the Medivac that we talked about last week with Brandon, the pseudo Medivac. But
True.
we lost.
So 2-2-1.
We lost Brando, and I think it was Toast last week who said not liking where Brando's sitting. Toast, how do you feel about that prediction?
I feel great. I mean, listen, I'm not going to, claim all credit. I think we all kind of came to the same conclusion. I could share the wealth, Kale. I could share it. No, yeah, I just wasn't getting enough from him as like a character.
No, I mean, for sure.
Coupled with his precarious situation that he found himself in, it was a recipe for disaster, and we saw it play out. Didn't think it was going to go his way, though. It seemed like from what they were saying, it was going to go more towards Kendra, although Kendra's, I guess, affability saved her. But in reality,
I think it was probably Drew and Emily talking about Brando
being rogue.
Emily, yeah.
Or lying, or playing the game a little.
Yeah, if Emily was convinced by Drew that it was actually Brando lying, and then it's like, okay, well, obviously we should vote him out. He's throwing shit around,
Yeah. I mean, I was going to just segue into how I think it's interesting because what they're showing us of Kendra, it's all things that usually point to someone who's annoying to be around, but they seem to like her a lot actually, which is kind of interesting to me. They show her kind of picking her nose, eating the worm, burping a lot, throwing up fake. I mean, with the worm, But that's usually like a montage that you would be I don't want to be around this person. But they actually were this would kind of suck that we have to vote Kendra out. So it's kind of interesting to see how she's fitting in with that crew. Maybe not the most interesting aspect of that crew tonight, but still something to look at, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what you're saying is right, where it's that exact same behavior, depending on the person and depending on the group, is going to get construed very differently. I don't know if that's a difference in personability, or I don't know if that's a word, or just the group that's around her, and how they interpret it. But
yeah, I don't mean to be an asshole, but Kendra's a 0%er for me right now.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
That's what we said last week. You guys disagreed with me.
I don't. You put her on there last week?
Yeah, GR put a comment in today saying he agreed with me on the last video. So shout out to you, GR. Appreciate
That's huge
support on there. I said she's a 0%er.
Yeah, she's a 0%er. I do think the discussion surrounding her tonight was meaningful mostly to kind of paint the dilemma that Drew found himself in, because I honestly think Austin saved the day for Drew tonight, because Emily was that swing vote.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because this game is so finicky that you have to come off sometimes. You have to make sure you're coming off in the right way to the right person. And multiple people might want you to be acting 2 different ways to them for them to like you. Emily wasn't getting good vibes from Drew, and that's just because Drew is kind of just a gamer at heart, and he's not particularly warm. He doesn't seem like he comes off as particularly warm. Not that he's coming off as cold, but pretty flat. And Emily has connected with Caleb previously, from Caleb being warm, and that continued tonight in multiple levels. Caleb's warmness, I have lack for a better term. But Austin, what?
You're looking for the word warmth.
Warmth. Yes, sorry. Austin comes back from the journey, and provides a level of warmth. And
Yeah.
so that helps form a deeper connection with Emily for which is what she was looking for, right? And it's funny too because my one big takeaway here too is that it really behooves you in this game to try to find some type of advantage in some fashion because whether or not you're actually using them, and idols are probably the worst, or knowledge is power would probably be the worst of the worst, which we hopefully don't see again. But being able to lend the information to Emily was probably the thing that took it over the finish
Yeah.
line.
Yes.
And you really can't do that unless you have
If you
something.
don't have information to share.
Exactly. So I sat back. I was like, what could Kendra and Brando have done differently? Because I actually think they didn't play poorly tonight. They didn't have the information that was
They
going to
didn't
let
have
them
anything
lend
to give. Yeah.
to lend to Emily to because I think she was looking. She was on the fence squarely.
He wanted to go with them badly, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 2 points. One, I was going to say, Kale, it's interesting because I think all three of us would characterize Emily, and I think Emily herself would characterize herself as being kind of like a cold logician, sort of with the facts. And it's interesting that she seeks out someone who's not as
I would almost
know,
I would almost lean that that's like
like opposite attract kind of thing.
Well, yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, listen, we're humans. We want warmth.
Sure.
And particularly those that come off cold might
But don't
not.
you think? But you could also say, like, shouldn't Emily of anyone be understanding of Drew being like, "Hey, them's the facts," you know? Like
Emily is the least bit understanding of anything. That's her big flaw.
I think Emily's position here might be a matter of pattern matching from her perspective. It's like, oh, the one person that I know, I really feel like I can trust in this game,
has these qualities,
and she's looking for those same qualities in that next alliance, and that's what's making her feel comfortable.
Yeah, but the root of those qualities is still the warmth that Caleb. I agree with what you're saying, Sim, but if you dial back the root,
Simmy's just telling you why. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's a great point. It's a great point.
And then the other thing I was going to say, Cal, sorry, just to finish the thought, was that I think that having information like that is powerful because it's not just who do you tell the information to, but who are you not sharing that information with, right? So like having information is like a twofold benefit to you because you're able to share that information with somebody and they get to understand that and say, wow, this person shared that information with me. But Emily's also like, oh, well, they're not sharing this information with them, you know? So it's like, it's kind of like it works so well together because it's a double positive if someone's sharing information with you because you know they're not sharing that information with the other people and you get the information too. You know, it's a powerful thing to be able to share. So good points.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about...
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I was a little worried to kill one of your earlier comments about Drew is it does feel like he's getting a little complacent.
Blasé.
Yeah, like it felt weird to me that he was so openly when Brando is extending this olive branch to him earlier in the episode that he was so brazenly like, no, I think it's it's an us versus you kind of scenario here. And I think if he hadn't been so brazen and open about that, I don't know that Brando would have had the motivation to have this not that it's desperate, but desperate move to be like lying about who's saying what to Emily to get her on his side. Like, I just feel like that could have been played a lot better. Like, why was he so?
I thought it might be used as like a show of solitude with Emily for Drew to be like no in front of Emily because
was it in front of Emily? I can't.
Yeah, Emily, because it was like there. The nerds or whatever. I mean,
yeah.
The thing that didn't make sense to me as a whole, and not to like go on a tangent, is like this tribe seemed very much against itself from the beginning, where like there was really no, even before the inevitable tribal that they had to go to, it didn't seem like they were operating as like, hey, maybe this unit can move forward. You know,
never even thought about it.
It was never that. It was, how do I get beyond this place I'm in right now and interact with the other people that are still in this game at large. It was never like us as a coalition here. We have all these attachments elsewhere. Can this attachment be stronger? Can we use everyone else in a way that benefits all 5 of us? It was never that.
Well, I mean, that's rooted in Austin's theory on the journey. He was apt to immediately look towards food because he didn't want more allies. He didn't want more, more of a numerical situation to unfold where he now has to report to 2 people that he probably did. I guess it seemed like he didn't want to report to. And I guess what this plays up is what we're going to see at this quote unquote merge next week. If it is a true full merge, is that they really truly feel they want to, lean back into D and Mama J.
Do you think it's because they nobody came into this tribe with a majority and the other 2 had majorities? I'm imagining this scenario where I get put in a swap, right? And it's there's no tribe majority, and the other 2 swaps both have tribe majorities, and it's in your head you're oh, there's power over there and there's no power here.
Yeah, we're the middle of the middle of the middle. We're the middle of the middle.
Yeah, but
if you're the other one and you're in the minority, you're yeah, it's us 5 because you are now in the
but to that point, if you think about it, if you're the one to lose a member from red versus blue in that sense, right? Then you're going into it with the 1 decreased number. If you do dial back into thinking, it's Reba versus what's blue again?
Bello.
Reba versus Bello. Clearly they have strong ties. That's what this all is rooted into. So they don't feel like they need to do this because they really truly believe in what they had. And at the same time, to what Simi's talking about, I do think that makes sense, particularly because Red held strong for as far as they know.
Yeah,
at the other tribe. What'd you say?
With the Sean vote, even though
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So for them to lose a number and then Bello then maintains 1 more number, again, it's that situation where when you have these 2 powerhouses going at each other right when the merge comes, you do still want to be on the better side of the numbers. I still personally think you want to be a Caleb in that situation.
I think
but
too, in the 2-2-1 situation, right? You're probably also thinking it's almost a little bit of a prisoner's dilemma. It's if I lose somebody, if I lose my person that came with me from my tribe, I look worse to the tribe that I'm going back to after the merge.
Mm-hmm. And my tribe as a whole is worse too.
And my tribe as a whole. So they're going to be mad at me. I'm now the bottom of my old tribe if I want to align with them afterwards. So it's almost well, if I don't do it, they will, and then I'm screwed when I get to merge, even if I make it through.
Yeah, there's an understanding of what's happening at the other tribes, which is what your original point was, that in the majority where there's 4 Bello against 1 Lulu, and then there's 4 Reba against 1 Lulu, right? They're gonna stick with their tribes and vote out the odd man. So if numbers are gonna give in any scenario, it's in this middle tribe. It's in the 2-2-1 tribe. So they're sort of de facto representing their tribe when they're holding true to their tribal alliances. Now, that's all assumptions, though. They're not actually in communication with the other groups. They just know that though the default setting on those other tribes are going to have to be keep, Bello strong, keep Reba strong. But like Kale alluded to, it wasn't actually the case that was going to happen, right? Sean kind of threw it. I don't know. Maybe we're beating a dead horse, but I think it's an interesting point.
I think it is too. I want to go to Kale. You brought up the journey. I do want to talk about that briefly as well during this episode. The thing, I loved Austin's perspective on this. I don't know if anybody else felt like that, but I thought that was the exact right read. He was I am not seeing this as a sign of alliance. I am seeing this as a sign of enemies. And
I like what the amulet presents.
Kelly too, but I didn't love her.
What do you say about Kelly? Say it again.
I didn't love her. I didn't like that she went with the strategy side of the decision.
She didn't even really make a decision. She just she was leaning there, right? And then Austin was like, "I'm not going to be the guy."
She did have a confessionalist. She said she wants to have some type of valuable item in this game. So,
which makes sense. Checks out.
I agree with you too, Sim, from the standpoint that he has something substantiated. He already has power with a couple different things, so he's in a different situation than a Jay and a Kelly.
If I have any advantages, I would want this thing.
I
would take it. I don't want the fucking sandwich, dude. I don't want the sandwich in this scenario.
But it's so useless, and the only way
it's not useless. It's not useless. Not useless outside of the fact that this is a manufactured 3 that if you actually are not capable of working together, it will probably work against you. So but it gets easier.
You need to agree on who you're voting for. Like that.
It's never working. It's never working in a 3. As long as they show this amulet, you can take it from me first. It'll never come into play with a 3. It'll never. So it doesn't matter. One
of us has to leave now.
Correct.
To be useful.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Every single person is saying it's the other one.
That's probably the likelihood that's going to happen anyways.
Yeah, it's just going to happen based on the numbers in the game.
Except that I know that the merge is really soon. So, like, if I thought that the merge wasn't soon, I'd be okay with it because I'd be like, there's a good chance that one of them gets taken out without me even being a target for them. But we're in a scenario where the merge is coming really soon. And we've got a lot of different factions, and now there's a lot more math that you have to do that you wouldn't have to deal with otherwise.
This is a set it and forget it advantage. The sandwich you're going to digest in 24 hours.
Yeah, Toast. I don't know if it's that simple. That's how Austin should play it now at this point.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that Jay operates on that same mindset.
No, it doesn't.
I have to assume that I'm their enemy number 1.
No. Hold on. Not necessarily, but the problem. I think the bigger problem is it comes up in discussions surrounding strategy when we're saying it's set it and forget it. I might feel that way, but Jay might want to pursue talking about it. You can't control it.
You can't control what the other people do.
Other than telling her, I don't want to use it this way. And if you're saying that, you're saying, then I want you to go home or Kelly to go home.
Yeah, which it is tacitly saying that, but they all know that though, right? Like they're putting on a show saying like, I'd rather have allies than sandwiches, and it's not really allies. Austin told us himself, it's not allies. You know?
No, I agree. Specifically,
so there's a front.
If it's people that you don't see yourself working with, and that Austin, I think, already knows that he's not going to be working with Jay.
Yeah,
I think
although he might.
I think the problem, though, too, Kale, is something that you brought up, is I don't know what their thoughts are on this, and I don't know how tight they are with their other alliances. So if they come out of this and they start blabbing to everybody about the advantage, now not only do I have to watch out for these two because their stuff gets stronger if I get voted out, but now I have to look out for everybody that they're aligned with, because if they know that I have an advantage, suddenly now there's more people with more targets on my back.
So you're saying, Simi, the sandwich is the cherry on top. You would pick nothing over this.
Bad. I think it's a wholly bad advantage.
You would pick nothing over this, and the fact that there's a sandwich on that side of nothing.
You view it in the same sense.
I'd take 2 lashes over. I mean, the sandwich is like, I'm getting rewarded for making a great strategic decision.
You jump off the top of the mountain. You jump off the top of the mountain there?
Yeah, I tumble down the rocks.
To not get it
down. I just think honestly, I don't think there's any real benefit, and if you do get benefit down the line, that has been entirely luck. You're just adding so much variance into your game that isn't necessary.
Yeah, well, we can reflect really quick. What happened with the amulets in 42? That was when the amulets were a thing. It was nothing, right? It only boiled down to Lindsay having it alone. Could have played it for Omer and didn't, and that actually lended itself towards Marianne's winning move, right? Blindsiding Omer,
yes.
Right? but it was really nothing. The difference in that scenario was that those amulets were introduced in the very first marooning. It was given to, it was in the middle of the
which
first
I like
challenge.
better. Which I like better.
So I'm saying let's assess the variables here. The variable here, like Simi said, is that this is happening. Your dirty work is not going to be done for you by someone else. You're going to have to sort of do this yourself. So,
and watch out for yourself at the same time.
Correct. So whereas before it was, hey, listen, hi, Lindsay, and then to be honest, I don't know who the other one was. It was Drea, I think maybe. You all have the amulets, and like maybe you're hoping that the other tribes will pick off that person before you have to do anything. You can't even use it until you're all together anyway, so you can't use it until the merge. But now here the difference is, now the difference is you have to do it yourself.
I think on top of that, Toast, is that's a season with no swaps as well. So now going into merge, if they do make it in, okay, I have a relationship that I couldn't have created previously. Whereas this season, we already have swaps. So you already have opportunities pre-merge to create some cross, alliance introductions. So even that benefit is kind of gone. Because if you really wanted to work with Jay or a Kelly, you have people on your tribe that you could have conversations with to try to get in with, to then work with them later anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just don't see the benefit, really.
If you were at the end of the game and you're pleading the case to the jury, this is assuming you're there, right?
Yeah.
So just like as a thought experiment, would you rather have the amulet as a move in your arsenal, or be able to like explain that you didn't take it strategically?
It's so
like you opted out of it strategically.
The problem is to really argue that the amulet was good for you, or like good for your game at the end, is if you specifically pioneered 2 votes to get the other 2 people out, which is going to be difficult to do.
Also, just as a side note, they didn't show either of the 2 other parties explaining their journey tonight.
They didn't.
No, they didn't. They didn't show them at all after they went. They didn't show camp life at the other beaches once
because we were already deep in the other situation. But continue your thoughts.
Yeah, no, that's a good call out though, Kale, because I didn't notice that. I think like the odds of you being able, because if you don't vote out the other 2 people and you make it to the end, anything that you did do with it, it's shared decisioning at that point. So you're kind of losing some agency in that decision. Now, I don't know that getting to the end and being like, I didn't take this amulet, I don't think you'd ever really bring it up, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying. So you are giving, you are giving up.
I don't think the small chance of you pioneering 2 votes to get out 2 other people, the odds of that happening is low. I think the reward of that is great, but there's so much risk in the middle that I just don't know that it makes sense.
Well, Sim, I think it's situational, because I do think that it can operate as set it and forget it, because that is how it operated in 42. It was really never talked about. We barely saw those 3 parties talk about it ever in 42. It was never a big narrative that led a vote for any reason.
But did they just not put it in the conversations because it didn't turn out to be anything?
Maybe, but at the end of the day, I still think that if I'm operating, trying to lead votes, direct votes, like, I'm not putting let me whittle down the amulet as number 1 behind my initiative for voting somebody out. It's more so, I need to keep the numbers, and I need that person out there more dangerous, whatever. I don't think the amulet drives voting behavior as much, to be honest. And particularly, then it becomes situational when you saw the 2 different situations here. Austin already has power in this game. So I'm on board 100%. Austin, take that sandwich every day, all day, and jump off the cliff if you wanted to. Otherwise, Kelly's confessional, I think I take it in Kelly's situation. She feels
Yes.
like she's situating herself very nicely in this game, as evidenced by Caleb's conversation
Yes.
with us tonight,
Endorsing
right?
her. Yes. Yes.
I
Exactly.
understand that, but how does it benefit? I just don't understand the benefit.
It gives you information, Sim. Information in this game is great.
It's a talking point. It's
I should say, not
Austin
always, not all information, right? Not all information, but I don't think that this operates as deadly as someone knowing you have knowledge is power or you have the beware idol. I don't think it operates like that.
I agree. I think it's less than that. But here's my thing: is if we're saying that the benefit of this is to use as a trust mechanism,
Or it could be transferable too, Sim. You can give to somebody else probably as well.
Yeah, but you got to give to somebody else, and now they have to agree with two people that they haven't spoken to yet. Like,
but that I still don't think.
just mean,
To
like,
Toe's
like-
point, I don't think the agreeing situation is really
It's never
ever gonna,
happening.
It's not going to happen.
It's like in writing, but it's just impossible.
I understand. I guess from my perspective, from if I'm Kelly, I feel like she's already created great relationships with these people. Like, why does she now need this new thing to even improve her relationships that we already think are good with these other people?
Well, she hasn't met half the people yet.
Oh, so you're saying like later down the line, if she's making new alliances with other people,
Yeah, 100%.
to use it for that stuff.
100%.
I also think like you could, if Kelly is so secure in her gameplay and her situation and her place in the game, she might think, hey, like this might be a way that they implode over me. Like they might look into this too much. They might start targeting people that they shouldn't be targeting, or going after me overtly, and I'll be able to read that. At least now I understand who my enemy is. I know who's coming after me. I know who's incentivized to get me out. Like, I don't know. I see it as
but that's like, okay, but that doesn't get rid of your other hidden enemies. That just gives you one more enemy who happens to be visible.
well, it just so happened that gameplay wise and situation wise, they are on opposite sides. It seems Kelly is not going to be working with Jay, is not going to be working with Austin. So they were never really in the running to work.
We might work with Jay because Jay's on the outskirts.
Situation. Who is going to work with Jay?
Jay
Who
might
are you saying, Mike?
Jay might flip flop to Bello for all we know. I don't know. It seems like Austin's in deep with Drew,
Reba,
D, and Mama J.
And Mama J. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess
Who is working with Jay to an extent. They
were gonna vote her out. They said tonight.
The strategy on that Reba, to be honest, was I think lackluster. I thought it was like lower level than what was going on in the other tribes. I thought it was like a less intense version. I don't know.
He has an idol. I just don't know where they're getting.
But they were on the beach. But they were on the beach when Austin found the idol, and they know that the idol's gone. So I don't know why they like. Why do they think that he has an idol?
There's another one.
And they're just like sold that Sifu has it.
They know that Austin has an idol.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy that they're saying it.
So I'm saying it was just like, yeah, thank you, Kale. It's like it's kind of like it's like for me, honestly, like the way that whole tribe is shaking out actually has me.
By the way, before we get fully away from it, a piece of the discussion surrounding them at the beginning of the episode too, I appreciated because at the end of the day, it did paint the light to what Sean did last week was
yeah, we're on this
stupid
right
and stupid and ridiculous and
yes.
And Dee's juxtaposition and her family background, family story was fantastic. I thoroughly appreciated it because
she was like, I couldn't fathom quitting.
No, and when you're going out on their island, you should never be fathom quitting. No. And again, I don't want to get on this path.
No, I love it.
But this season has a long way to go to really reverse what we've seen from 3 players that 2 quits, 1 person that God only knows was completely useless on the island. Like it's such a poor taste in the mouth that like even an episode like tonight, which I thought was good, it's just like, what was that last week? And all 3 of those women were so frustrated, like visibly frustrated and sounding off on it, which was
Which
great.
is what we said too. I mean, I was like, Sean has the audacity to then say to Sifu, "No, I didn't vote for you. Are you fucking kidding me? You just voted yourself out of this game, and now you're gonna screw over these people." And that's what Mama J said. She was like, "We were being nice to you. We were actually gonna save you, and you just threw us under the bus like this as you're on your way out, quitting. We had a plan."
It just doesn't make any sense. He did so much work to make this alliance. Then he screws over the alliance, both in the moment and in the future. It just doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
I don't get the motivations. I don't get the motivations at all.
No, it's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. Well, I mean, we got two great stories tonight, though. We got D's as well as Jake's. Jake's.
So if we're bumping around stock report wise, I think just from an edit perspective, I do think Jake had that story was interesting.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that. I really scared me when he collapsed again. It looked like he was seizing. I was like,
well, they showed
it
the
did.
First
I think it's dehydration / motion. I'm not a doctor, but you can lend this a little credence to this. But I think when you're laying there dehydrated with no nourishment and you have a quick get up, that can fuck you up. No,
that what Kelly described makes sense. It's
exactly.
It happens
like
to me when I eat for an hour and a half and I stand up from the couch.
It looks scarier.
Facts,
it looks scarier than it is.
Yeah.
It looks like what it looks like.
No, his portrayal and mannerisms in doing it might be normal, but he just looks like it's bad.
Like,
it looks worse than it is.
Because I don't think it was a seizure. I don't think it was a seizure.
No.
Yeah.
It was not a seizure.
Yeah.
It was definitely not.
Really his brain going like, "Get up, I'm falling down. Get up, and it looks like he's, you know what I mean, shaking. That was scary.
Yeah, but then they did like a backtrack scene where they like showed us it happening for the first time because we didn't see it the first time, but now I guess they showed us the second time and they were like, "This has actually been a thing," and then they showed us the first one.
They showed that. You missed that?
Yeah,
they showed the first one.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
When?
Yeah, they
weeks
showed
ago.
it when it actually happened. He like fell over the fire.
Yeah.
Wait. So they have showed us.
Did you black out when he blacked out?
Yeah, it must have been that exact moment.
Yeah.
And flashback to the original one.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. So they did show us the first one. Okay.
Yes.
I don't remember the first one.
Also,
all right. It's all right, Jake.
Medical must have come in and checked him, right? Like, and they didn't put it in the edit. Like, there's no
100%. The fact that they didn't even show medical looking at him, it's got to firm up that it's. Yeah. I think it's just probably dehydration, honestly. Right?
People have passed out in Survivor and have not been taken out of the game, so it's not like it's.
Well, that's why the edit more so with that all being said, and because this potentially is a non-factor. And this gave them the time to edit this story in.
It
gives me a little bit more evidence that he's long for the game.
I think it's good. I think it's really good. I think we had a few. I mean, I don't want to go too early into our stock reports, but
I'm down. I'll dive into it.
I also want to talk about is there was a real winner's quote tonight. I don't know if you guys.
You never really point.
You're not the person to do this,
but
I love it.
Kevin, I was watching with Kevin and I heard it and I was like, "Oh, that's a hard line."
Let's hear it.
Caleb's line where he goes, "If you can't kneel in front of the enemy, they'll see you coming from 1,000 miles away," when he's hanging out with Bruce. And I was like, ooh, it was such a sick line.
Caleb is good with words like that. He was like,
yeah.
Oh,
he had a few this week.
I think it's undeniable that Caleb, from a social standpoint, is doing everything you need to do, and I think it's, I think he's doing it without the crazy noise that Tony did it with.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony was able to be endearing to almost everybody, and Caleb's situating himself in the same vein. And at the end of the day, when you can play on Katura needing to focus on this Bruce situation, which clearly is an issue. Like it's undeniably an issue. He seems to be a pain in the ass. But you utilize those things to your advantage. You don't focus on it and make it your dying, your death wish. Like it's you utilize these things to your advantage. Caleb's doing this now in the same way he did with Emily previously.
Yes.
Caleb's playing this game extremely well from a social standpoint.
You know what I really like about it too is he even said it this episode. He's really focusing specifically on the one-on-one relationships. He's not caring that much about like, okay, let's get this majority over here. Let's get this majority over here. He's just saying each person I want a great relationship with. And what I like about that is because something that I was worried about this episode, I'm like, is he getting too much visibility at how good he is socially? But I think he's actually minimizing that visibility by having really strong one-on-ones, which encourages that other person to not talk about it with other people. You know what I mean?
Far more times in this game, a great one-on-one relationship is going to save you rather than hurt you. Far more times in this game.
Yeah.
And I'll put the quiz question out there. When was the number one-on-one relationship that ended up benefiting somebody in Survivor history?
The best one-on-one relationship?
Yes.
I was gonna as you were saying it, I don't know if this is the best one-on-one. I don't think it is actually the best, but I really liked the one-on-one that Tony had with Jeremy in Winners at War when they were on opposite factions.
That's what I was talking about when he was good at it. But I was saying the best evidence of when a one-on-one relationship will help you out is Wendell and Laurel.
Well, that is $1 million.
Getting $1 million check. That's $1 million relationship right there.
I thought it was gonna be woo. Am I crazy for thinking?
No. Again, but that's to Tony's point too, and his brilliance is again that situation too, and again that's juxtaposed to Cass pissing everybody off for the most part, and at the end of the day, one-on-one relationships will ultimately help you more than they'll hurt you.
Yeah. I think the great thing about having a one-on-one relationship with everybody on your tribe is when you eventually betray somebody, the person who's mad at you is gone. Whereas if you're in like a threesome or something, where it's a really tight threesome alliance, and then you have to flip at some point, and you vote somebody out, now you got somebody who's pissed at you, who's actively working against you with all these other people. It's like,
well, you got to hope that the jury is very happy. You got to hope that the jury is okay and happy with like Caleb telling everybody that they're their number one, because everybody on that jury is going to end up saying, Caleb, you convinced me I was your number one.
Is he using that language?
I don't know if he's using those words, but
if you're careful not to use that language and you're doing it in a way where
you're never going to say to the person who felt that they were your number one, you're never going to be like, you didn't read the fine print. I never said that. That's not the right argument to then get their vote. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're gonna
but this is the bigger picture right now is that Caleb and evidenced in the preview where Bruce comes up to him and says you might not know the power that you have right now, which I
think he does.
Bruce's dismay, I think he does know. This is exactly what I've been talking about. When you enter this merge with these shorter numbers, it ultimately I think benefits you. We saw it happen last season, right? And when you can play the middle against these two powerhouses and specifically do so with relationships that you're now substantiating, and right now Pete, you're going to be leaning back and forth, hopefully, is how he's going to play it, slalom.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, he's just going to lean into one relationship that he has that's great on Reba, one relationship that he has that's great. Well, he doesn't know anybody on Reba yet, right?
No.
No.
So I don't know I'm sure he'll make relationships next week, but or did he go on one journey early too?
He did, but
with who again?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
He went on a journey. I don't know.
Oh no, he did the fucking. He gave Austin and Drew what they used to.
Oh yeah.
When he raided their camp.
Yes,
Fuck, man. See,
Yes.
so like.
And he's got a great relationship with them.
you're right.
I think it's an interesting juxtaposition, though, too, of what Caleb is doing and what Austin and Drew are doing. Where Austin and Drew are dumping all of their, experience points into one relationship that it seems extremely tight right now. And where Caleb is saying, "Let's spread it out." My one-on-one.
It's funny that you say experience points too. When they had like they had a Pokemon chat.
That is funny. I was like thinking of like RPGs when you like level up and it's like you've got 2 points to allocate to strength.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and Caleb is like +1,
Dumping
+1,
it,
+1.
yeah, all in
and,
that.
And Drew and Austin are like all strength.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the way to go. I think Caleb's matter of
I
working
it'll be
is
interesting
better.
to see how it plays out this season because it really is an A/B test on that.
A little pushback is that like Kale, when you say that we do see this often where like small numbers coming out of starting tribes, like they can do well in the game later on. But a lot of that has to do with them being overlooked. Like Carson and Caroline and Jam were sort of like, we don't need to deal with you yet kind of thing. Like we have this big war, like you guys happen to be in the middle of it and like that's cute and all. And then obviously like, they had the last laugh. But the difference here is that Caleb is very much out and about, like, and is known. Caleb is a known entity right now. Like you said, like as much as we can point to all of these good relationships he has, he is a known entity. It's very easy for someone to be like, okay, Caleb is way too powerful here. Or it might be the case that people are just like, when are we going to start talking about Caleb? And then the second one person does, they're all like, yep, we all want to win, don't we? So it's a double-edged sword.
About preseason Toast. In like the preseason interviews, nobody knew his name yet, but they kept being like, oh yeah, there's one guy who just keeps smiling at everybody. It feels like he's playing the game really hard, really early. So I am worried about that visibility. I do think he's minimizing it as much as he can by this one-on-one strat that he's kind of doing.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, what as funny as it is to say, if even unknowingly Emily can attach herself to Caleb, and then he just puts himself out there too much, she can be the real beneficiary of what he's doing.
Which is what you've said before, and I don't think it's wrong. I think that there's a chance that she benefits in a way that she's not intending on,
100%.
and kind of stumbles into something.
100%, because even tonight, like, she showed her faults when she grilled Drew, when she's really just trying to substantiate where her position should be in this vote tonight. She gave Drew too much information. And ultimately, she could have flip-flopped at the end, but clearly they must have felt real good with her going into the tribal there. Because otherwise, I think there would have been more talk about Austin using his idol for Drew.
I think Drew would have used his, like, I can leave.
No, but then they wouldn't have gotten the result they wanted. That might have just screwed over Austin.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Or Emily just would have gone home in some sense. Or
well,
whatever.
If they were going for Drew, they're going to go for Austin over Emily. They would have used Emily. They would have gone for Austin. If we're going overarching.
Yeah,
like,
but he would have used his idol though. If Drew got up and left,
sure, then it would just be Armageddon for no reason. It didn't. Need
no,
to
exactly.
That.
They would have lost both. Advantages. So
which he already used one tonight.
So that's why I'm a
he
little
was
bit
forced
confused.
into using that. He had to use that.
Yeah. Yes.
Which one?
Because
the recover vote.
So he
recover vote. He had to. They were using something tonight.
Yeah, he had
no
to.
matter what.
He had to vote, and he didn't need the idol. Therefore, you use the recover.
That would have been crazy if they used 4 advantages.
But they had to feel somewhat comfortable because, I don't think Emily needed to be as overt in explaining what the fuck was going on. Process that yourself. And feel people out. Like she's incapable of having that social element that, like I said, ultimately she might benefit if she's able to tag along with Caleb.
I think it was masked in a way by Drew actually being a little bit self-reflective and saying to himself, "Wow, I didn't actually think that I was on the table here, and now I kind of am on the table because she's asking me this." And
well, what do you mean? She didn't have to go grill him, though.
No, I understand, but Drew didn't read it as, why are you so insecure right now about where we are at? He viewed it as, wow, I might not be as safe as I should be right now.
But that's my point. That's my point. You never want Drew to come to that realization. When you're trying to play the middle and potentially get Drew out, you don't want him coming to these realizations.
Oh, got it. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So you're saying with the intention of maybe going against Drew, why? Which is where she
was. That's where she was when she was having that conversation.
Well, maybe she actually just wanted a reason to be with Drew, and she was like, "Give me a reason here, like talk to me." Actually,
I think
that's what I said. That is what she was trying to accomplish. But if she really dialed it back, she would have realized she's the flip vote. She controls the narrative here. She doesn't need someone else to control the narrative for her.
I see what you're saying.
But here's the thing: I think if she hadn't done that, I think she would have voted with Brando and Kendra.
And I don't think that would have been a bad thing for her. We never really dove into if she made the right decision or not. I don't know if she did.
I think she did. I think she did. I think she did make the right move.
From an outside perspective, though, I think Drew and Austin are too close for that to ever really be useful for you.
But look at it this way, Toast.
I'm happy with that.
Her best buddies are boying out with the Blue Tribe right now. She just voted against the Blue Tribe. How is that going to be, sewn over?
I just don't think that there's a place for Emily in the blue aura as much as there is with Austin.
She doesn't know that they're combusting as it is with the Katura Bruce situation. She doesn't know that, but there is, I think.
But I think that if you're Emily and you think, okay, so Drew and Austin have an alliance with those other girls from Reba, and then they also have a secret alliance with me moving forward, I think that they're going to protect me because they think that I'll be the person that helps get rid of their alliance when we get to the end. And
why wouldn't it be the exact same otherwise? Other than the fact that they lent some information. I
don't think Kendra's gonna value Emily once they get off that beach.
Well, why? I don't.
It
I
doesn't
don't think
seem
that's
like
substantiated that those guys were gonna do so. I think she had the right read on Drew. I don't think Drew values Emily at the end of the day.
I think that Drew values Emily for his own selfish reasons, but I think it actually gets Emily farther in the game than Kendra and Brando, who would use her for a vote and then not really get her in the fold. It seems like they want to actually use Emily. Austin keeps saying, people are going to say, I want to be with you. And I'm talking about till the end. I'm happy to go with you to the end, Emily. And I think he's being genuine. I think he wants to be
genuine at all. He wants
I actually
Drew,
do.
And I think he's going to.
I do want to go to the end with Emily.
So there you go, Simi. It was the right move. That's all you need to say. That's it. Because Kendra and Brando
kind of has a negative view on her for the most part still.
That's fine. But then regardless of what other people interpret her to be, it is the best move for her if she's going with someone who will bring her to the end.
Yeah. I think I agree with you.
Okay, so there we go.
I have flipped. I think they're more likely to actually be in their plans.
I don't think there's I don't think there's any evidence.
Exactly.
To say Kendra wouldn't. I don't.
It just doesn't seem like Kendra has Katora, Kendra has Kelly, Kendra has Brando still, Kendra has all the people on the
She doesn't know what she has. She doesn't know what she has. She doesn't have
exactly.
Bruce,
but she
doesn't know what the other two have either. Other than,
but I don't think she's going to value what she has with Emily. I think that she would use her.
But
for
her
a vote.
best, at the end of the day, Emily still is in her brains thinking Caleb over any of these other people.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
And Caleb's with Blue right now.
Back to Caleb.
But
yeah, if
wait, you changed back.
If I'm
why?
Listen, I'm gonna explain. If I'm Emily, I love when you two fight over me. If I'm Emily, my number one is Caleb above all. Above all.
Yeah.
If he's on a tribe with all Bello people, why would I want to vote off people who are potentially aligned with the people that he's aligning himself with?
There's too many damn people. What are we talking about? They're not all aligned with one another. We're gonna get to the merge. Someone's going home.
It's the same number. It's the same number on red, though. So I don't understand your logic. It's the same number on red.
So you're saying that Lulu should take a firm stance and be with Bello, is what you're saying?
No.
That's not
If
what
Caleb
Cynthia did
is
last
with
year.
if Caleb's with Bello, and
We don't
I'm
know what
either
Caleb
going,
is gonna do. We don't know who Caleb is going to be with.
Okay, but
I
Toast,
agree with that from an outsider perspective.
You
Okay.
have to agree, though, Toast, that it's more likely than not that he is
Yes.
creating alliances when he is surrounded by Bello people.
Sure, that's fine, but why is Emily's alliance with Drew and Austin not equally valuable?
Because it's less people.
Because at the end of the day, she's
No, it's not. It's the
defaulting
same
back.
amount of
She's
people.
defaulting back to Caleb.
In the real world, yes, she is going to go back to Caleb, but that doesn't mean that she has to abandon Drew and Austin. Those
It
are not.
might
those,
have to mean that when they are going
might.
against each other.
If I have a ride or die, I'd rather align myself with people. I'd rather do actions that don't screw up that
My ride or die
relation.
Okay, but you guys are just assuming that Emily has to go to wherever Caleb is.
She's gonna.
That's her thought process.
But what I'm saying is that if Emily
she's gonna go against Caleb on the merge.
I'm not saying against, but why can't Caleb go with her? Why is Emily the one that has to move?
I don't think she operates that way. I guess that's where we're differing.
You're saying more people. It's not more people. It's the same number of people.
You said more people.
No, but Toast. Her relationships is one layer separated from the majority. Right?
What do you mean?
2 people. She's got 2 people, right? And then there's 3 other.
4
3
other.
4, yeah. 4 other. Yeah. So like
Only
Caleb
Lulu
is with-
until tonight.
Caleb is
Only
with the
Lulu
four.
had been voted out until tonight.
Caleb is with the 4, right?
Caleb gave the advantage that we talked about tonight.
She doesn't
to
know
Drew
that.
And
She
Austin.
doesn't know that. She doesn't know that.
What do you mean? But what does that matter? You guys are saying that that Caleb's going
She
to work with
doesn't
Blue.
know that. She doesn't.
I'm
know
not
that.
saying whether or not she knows it. I'm saying
we're
that your
talking
argument
about
is
the
that
information that she has. All she knows is that Caleb is with Bello right now. That's all she knows.
but that's not like
If you're Emily, are you going to make the assumption that Caleb is going to be more closely aligned with Bello or more closely aligned with Reba?
I'm saying it doesn't matter. In my best interest,
If you are operating as Emily, correct.
You're
Okay.
going wherever.
But you're saying what is
If
Emily?
you are Emily with her brain, that's what we're saying.
Yes.
So you're saying it was the right move for her to go with something that was overtly not in her best interest, in the hopes that it was in her best interest because of what Caleb might be thinking? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm saying that if it is a certainty that
It's
you
not.
are going to, in my mind, it's a 98.9% chance that she is going to want to work with Caleb more.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
That is a
Absolutely.
certainty.
I'm saying if that's the case,
Yeah.
you should align with people that are more likely to be aligned with Caleb.
So you're saying that just because Caleb got swapped into a tribe with 4 Bello, she now should make a decision that she's with Bello, even if the other group is offering her something right now?
I'm saying if it's a close decision, I'm leaning more that way because
I don't think Kendra would give Emily anything, though. I don't think that Kendra would say, "Thanks
Why?
for
But
working with me."
that's stupid to me because I don't.
'Cause
I
it
don't-
doesn't- it's actually
I don't know
not
why.
in-
I don't know why Kendra is offering more or less than Drew.
Because
So Drew's gonna screw over Emily in 2 seconds,
Drew
and I think she's had the right read on it.
Drew and Austin had a read right away that they were going to be trying to go for Emily to get Emily on their side. Why are Kendra and Brando just waking up to the fact that they need Emily to get anything
I'm
done
not
here?
saying that Kendra and Brando did anything right or wrong, but I'm saying
But if I'm
Emily had
Emily,
the
I'm
right.
like,
Emily
I
had the right
appreciate-
read on Drew from the beginning, from the get-go tonight. Has that complete right viewpoint on Drew. Drew's cutthroat
Okay.
and will remain cutthroat the entire time.
Yes.
He will ultimately have no allegiance to Emily at the end of the day.
Unless it's in
He
his
needed Emily
interest.
tonight and only tonight. That's all he needed Emily for.
But Emily is actually in his best interest because Emily is the side
It's
person
not going to go
get
back
rid
to
of
that. And we saw it in the preview, and that's what I think his mindset was. And when he threw off the Nerd Alliance tonight completely from the onslaught. He never wants Emily to be long term. At least at this point,
I don't think you wanted Brando long term, which was
I
clear.
don't
Obviously,
understand why he didn't.
I don't think he wants Emily either. I think he just wants Austin.
he just wants Austin, but that's not how the game is played. You need more people, and
I
Emily
think
knows
D
that.
and Mama J. Mama J is who he vibed with heavy over there.
Okay, but so now you get down to 4 people who votes
That's
who.
all you really
if you
need.
have
So that's a bigger discussion.
if you have Emily, you win
saying
that.
Emily could play the middle again with
Yes.
Drew, Austin,
I understand that,
Mama
but
J, D.
but like that, there's a bigger discussion with how many numbers you truly actually need in this game. Like
I think
that's kind of where Austin came from tonight. Is that he didn't need more than the numbers he had already? Is kind of where he had his whole thought process tonight.
He wanted a sandwich. Yeah.
Which I also think is dumb because I think, sorry to go back to that, but Austin could have made such a good argument for the sandwiches that he just totally missed out on. You just go, I don't want to fight. I want to work with you guys. I don't want to be like enemies with you guys. Let's go for the sandwiches so we don't have to.
Yeah, but I still keep coming back to the fact that those two had nothing. They have no advantage in their pocket.
I think that this makes them worse off.
It doesn't necessarily. It doesn't. Because if you're to what
we're back on this.
we don't have to rekindle this, but if to what to flourish out Toast's point from earlier, if Kelly's playing such a great social game and this thing should take a backseat like it did in 42, ultimately Kelly's going to be voting out just from order of operation these other people, and it will grow to being an idol just by order of operation.
And then she has it at the end. This is something I didn't really need too much, or maybe she pulls a great move, and here it is. And she did great. Is what I think. I think it's worth it for her.
Listen, I think Austin and Drew are two powerful players, and those two are naive not to think about the consequences of the fact
they're
that
going to start using that information now.
Correct.
Sure.
I'll give you merit to your argument on that, because at the end of the day, that probably it already was tonight. So Austin and Drew said, so we need to vote them out so that we can continue to build this up. Yeah, I get that. But Kelly's got an armed forces behind her already, it seems like. So it might not matter.
I guess from my perspective, it's like I don't understand. I can understand it more from Jay's perspective, but you keep going on Kelly. Kelly, I feel like she's in such a good position. Why even add targets to your back when you're already in such a good place?
It is so rare that you win this game without utilization of an advantage or utilizing someone else's advantage.
I know.
Let's do stock stuff. Let's do stock stuff.
Yeah,
no, just because we're jumping into like things I want to hit on.
Checked out?
No.
No.
We're an hour or two. We should do that.
I didn't mean to just be like, hey, let's.
No. I think you're right, Toast. I think you're right. We're retreading ground that we've already discussed. You go first. Give us your stock ups, your stock downs.
Stock down is Sifu. I don't like Sifu. I think Sifu is not authentic. What? What did you say?
I think he's not even playing the game.
Yeah, he's a non-entity. They say he's running around. They think he has an idol. I don't know. He's like, every time he gets in front of the camera and has a confessional, I don't think it doesn't come across as endearing to me. I don't like him. I think I don't think he's authentic. I think he's just like playing a dumb game and
I don't think he was that wrong for trying to explore what the fuck happened.
I didn't say that, but I just don't like him.
I think he did it in a bad way.
I think he's a 0% chance to win. I don't think he is bringing anything to the table.
I think he's a 0 as well, but
Goose egg.
Okay. So stock down. Stock up. I'm sticking with my winner pick of Kelly. I think that it's definitely laden with edit reading. I think that like we got someone who we are all agreeing is like in a very powerful position, is like overtly a main character on the show, saying, I think Kelly is the best player on this beach. That's Caleb. Caleb is saying,
but does that take away from his edit?
No, it doesn't take away at all, but it's nice to see how other people are perceiving her, because Kelly really isn't doing anything crazy to warrant screen time or warrant people discussing her. And when you get someone like Caleb, who is very much in the limelight throughout the whole episode and throughout the season, saying, I think that Kelly is the best player.
Yeah, but I think you're going multi-level here, because Caleb's still outpacing Kelly's screen time like 3-4 fold.
Agreed.
It's
Agreed.
not close.
No, I agree. I'm saying they're really, but Caleb is actually doing things that would warrant that. Kelly is not doing anything really. Like Kelly is not really, other than interacting with her tribe mates. She's not doing.
So you're just saying pure edit then is what you're saying.
That's what I preface with that. But
I don't like that if that's the case because that sucks because I still would hope she does something. So.
Well, yeah, I mean now we have the amulet involved. Maybe that might come into something. But what I mean to say is that when you have other players endorsing somebody in the way that Caleb endorsed her, I think that it's a positive. Now your argument is, well, Toast, why don't you just pick the person who's doing the endorsing, right? You're saying why not just pick Caleb? I personally think that Caleb, I agree with everything that we've talked about, but I also think he does have this downside of being just so out in front that at some point it just is the logical move to get rid of Caleb. Like it's like people are not dumb to like the extent that in the past people have been dumb. Like even like Carson, like we were like, oh, can Carson really make it through and do this? And eventually everyone was just like, no, it's time for him to go. Like it's just time for him to go. He's great.
He wins fire, he wins. But you know, it could come down to that too. Like the narrative.
But you get what I mean.
The narrative can be created. When we went into that finale, our prediction was that he's going to lose just from the bigger picture of edits at that point in time. So we just thought he would lose at fire. But sometimes it just goes as simple as he wins fire, he wins the show. Jesse wins fire, he wins the show.
Yeah, but
it might be Caleb wins fire, Caleb wins the show.
It could be. It could be.
Caleb's still going to remain my winner pick. I do like Jake's edit tonight. I think
something to watch.
I think Bruce and Katura's sparking battle is ships sinking each other at this point in time. I don't think it's beneficial at all for either of them. No, it's not in the slightest. And candidly, I don't think it was a good episode for Drew. I don't think it was a good episode, to be honest. No. I'm taking a step back because I think he's doing everything juxtaposed to what Caleb's doing. And I think he let opportunities slip here. Yes, he doesn't necessarily have to work with Brando, but I think he could approach it better. And I think he was a beneficiary of what happened with Emily tonight. And I think he was a beneficiary of Austin coming back and being warm. Back to my warmth comment that I made earlier, of that warmth is what brought Emily on. A couple of those factors are different. I think Drew sinks himself tonight. So I think Drew had a bad episode. That's where I sit.
I agree with almost everything you guys are saying. I do personally think that for Jay and Kelly, it's a slight stock down because I don't like their reasoning. I don't like this advantage. That's just me.
Wait, so you're putting Kelly's stock down for picking the amulet?
Because he thinks it's going to play against him. That's a fair point, Toast. I mean, that's not fair.
I mean, like I get it, but like to the same point, there are so many people that would just also argue that, like, oh, you went on Survivor, you climbed up a mountain, and you could have gotten an advantage, and you picked a sandwich instead. Like, that's a stock down for some people.
He's talking about this situational, Toast. She doesn't know this, but one of the people she shared the amulet with is Austin, who has a arsenal of items that he's working with. And he's got a power alliance. So it's really not a great thing if they are really going to start to target this.
I just wish that, like, I get that, but there are so many other players who are doing horribly right now.
So a stock down does not mean I think they're playing.
Sure. Okay. Fine.
They have decreased slightly. You know what I mean? You're still.
Yeah, this still might be. Okay. This still might be. Tesla and had a bad day.
Honestly,
all right. Okay.
She's still in my top 3. Honestly.
Yeah. So
okay. Penny stop. Fine.
Yeah. She's in my top 3. She just said.
Sorry.
She knows that a little bit. I agree that this is also a stock down on Drew. I don't love this. I'm hoping that this scenario can kind of kick him in the butt a little bit and be like, hey, we don't need to be so overconfident. I know everything's been working out, but like, let's actually have some urgency. And I agree with your point, Toast, that I think that there's a wall that Caleb will hit eventually. I think it's it's just inevitable. And I think Kale, I think your point about like maybe he wins fire and wins. I think that's a real path, if assuming he won the season.
Yeah, I mean his edit could be painting it that way. And I just want to touch on before you finish on what you just said there. I think Drew severely needs to change his ways right now because I think I know I just said this, but I need to underscore it more. I think he's been a massive beneficiary of all of the information and help that he's been provided by Austin. Like, he's been a massive beneficiary because Austin found all these things, came running to him. Austin helped fix the situation that was unfolding tonight. And these are all happening secondhand. And I do think Drew's the smarter partner in that alliance, but he himself has got to fix his social game, I think.
Yeah, I think he's just getting a little complacent, and I'm hoping that this can kick him in the butt a little bit. One interesting thing is that I do think it seemed like in the preview that next episode is going to be a merge or something. Like, is it merge? Regardless, I think assuming Bruce makes it to the merge, I think Bruce is in the final three as like a goat that's get pulled along. And the reason I say that is because the reason people want to kick him out right now is because he's annoying and bossy. But that's because they're on an individual tribe. I think once you're in a big group, he can't really be as bossy because he's not bossy during challenges because almost all of them are individual for the most part.
I think that's a bold
It's not
take.
like a your group versus your group. I think it's much more likely that he gets dragged to the end.
I think he thinks he wins. I think he wins. I think he thinks he wins, like, undefeated vote if he's in final.
I think he thinks that. I think he
Yeah.
thinks that. I think he gets the old goose egg.
That's a bold take, Sim. I don't.
I think he can make it to the final three.
I think he's a 0%er for winning it.
I agree.
I don't hate.
Simmy said that last week too.
Yeah.
I don't hate the take. He just has a force that's like Katura wants him out. I mean, candidly, for that to happen, I think Katura needs to be voted out sooner rather than later.
I think Katura could lose that fight.
Fine, and that's what's going to probably have to happen because she wants him out more than we've seen, anyone in a long time.
Yeah, I want this payoff to happen sooner because I'm actually, quite frankly, sick of the storyline.
I am too.
I don't care which one of them wins because, to be honest with you, neither of their characters are compelling enough for me to like really have a fight in it. You know, a stake.
I don't give a shit. Yeah, I candidly don't give a shit. You're right. You're right.
I think my winner pick is gonna stay Drew, but I don't love that I'm saying that.
No, that's what you need to do, Simi. You need to take it. You gotta hold. That's what you gotta do. I respect that.
I think I do, and so that's why I'm really hoping.
Yeah, I respect that too. You were on him since day one, and the payoff will be there. But unfortunately, like I said, he needs to fix a lot for that to come to fruition.
To be honest, you've already made a profit if you think about it, right? Like, he didn't get voted off first. You've been holding for weeks. You know what I mean?
You're saying I'm just pot committed.
Yeah, you're pot committed.
Money.
Well, regardless, he's my winner pick. All right, another week gone by. Another great chat with the boys.
No, let's hope this post merge is big time because the season needs it.
I think. Look, I don't know that post merge is going to take us above 2 people quitting the game, but I think if we can go into this post merge kind of blinders on what happened before that, I think we could have a really exciting post merge. I think there's a lot of great characters still, and I think there's a lot of alliances that can come up, and we have a lot of strong players left. Which is
I hope so because there's a lot of backlash from everything that's happened, just social media wise, and I never want Survivor to be in trouble, for its life. Yeah. So I hope it comes to fruition. I mean, I'm saying that, and the fan base is rabid, and it will always probably remain rabid. So that is going to be what it is. But let's hope that there's a payoff here.
Yeah, let's hope. All right, good chat, boys. If you're on YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Get out in the comments. Let us know what you think. Great talking to you. I will see you boys next week. Peace.